line, trying to make him make some plays with his feet.
Well, Middle Tennessee's mired in a bit of a funk. They have lost 6 of their last 7. They started 3-0, but they have been hammered with some setbacks physically. Hope to have a different type of team a week from now. The next time they hit the court, get a couple players back. But they'll go with 8 healthy bodies today against this Ole Miss team.
And one of the advantages for Ole Miss is their size and their depth on the front line. As you see Tyree right away attacking the rim.
Breein Tyree comes into this game 8th in the Southeastern Conference in scoring at 16.5 a game. Shooting numbers not where Kermit Davis would like to see them. Sitting right now, Breein Tyree at 39% from the field and just 25% from behind the arc.
Yeah, a numbers lower than what they were last year, but he is taking on a little bit of a different scoring role, and he's getting one of the best defenders every night. So that changes some things, but this guy can really go and has some incredible acceleration and speed with the ball in his hands.
So Middle Tennessee will go with Donovan Sims, Tyson Jackson, Jace Johnson, C.J. Jones, and Antonio Green as their starting 5 today. Block shot there by K.J. Buffin, the sophomore at 6'7".
Size and girth at almost every position, and a great middle pick and roll early offense for Ole Miss.
Good start for the Rebels offensively. Corner 3 ball from C.J. Jones, the Arkansas transfer. That one is off the iron, and here comes Tyree back the other way with Schuler now.
I like the early drag. 2 hard dribbles to the elbow. That's a good-looking shot for Schuler.
And a foul against K.J. Buffin of Ole Miss. We'll give it to Middle Tennessee.
Nice screen and roll right down the lane line. Good finish by Kadeem Sy.
Kadeem Sy is one of these players. You watch him in practice today like we did. You see him in warm-ups. Boy, he has the look. 6'10", 240. Moves around like he's 6'5", not 6'10".
He can rebound out of his area. He can get them in their transition game very quickly.
Good box out underneath. Buffin there to grab the rebound. C misses that one and into the hands of Antonio Green. He'll stop and fire. That one's off the mark, and he'll be shooting all afternoon.
And you know, that quick shot is okay with Coach McDevitt. He talked to us before the game, and he told us that there's a fine line between trying to ramp up in the tempo and not having the kind of depth. And when you've got a guy that has literally has the green light, like Antonio Green, that's not a bad shot.
So if you're going to shoot it under 10 seconds, it better be not just a good shot, it better be a great shot. And Green out on the run. Loose basketball. Stumbles.
And see, Dave, ball didn't go out of bounds, so they kept playing. That play right there by Breein Tyree is trying to do too much. You know, you can't just dribble and go nowhere. You've got to pass the ball. He has, that's part of the reason why his numbers are down.
Tyree kicks it in the corner. Henson fires, and he connects for 3.
That's a much better decision by Breein Tyree. Move the ball, reverse it. Keep the ball moving.
Middle Tennessee looking for their first points. They've had, until that last possession, they'd gotten up 5 shots in 5 possessions. And then Breein Tyree makes an answer on the other end with another 3.
I think when Breein Tyree plays like he's not trying to prove anything and just lets the game come to him, he's such a dynamic scorer. He's made back-to-back great decisions with the ball.
Here's Sims. Nowhere to go. He's swinging around the perimeter. Now Green has it.
Really good defense by Ole Miss.
Tyson Jackson in the paint. Working against C, and that one gets to go down. And it took 3.5 minutes, but Middle Tennessee on the board.
Well, Tyson Jackson catches it so deep, and Sy doesn't want to commit any fouls. He's been prone to foul trouble. He knows that Coach Davis is going to put him on the bench if he gets in foul trouble.
KJ Buffin can't get it to go. He's working hard. Henson now will rattle that one home. It's a 10-point advantage for Ole Miss. Corner three from Jones. That one is hammered home from three.
Middle Tennessee falls back into a zone on a made basket.
Here's Schuler. He gets a little runner at the go, and boy, Middle Tennessee just cannot stop Ole Miss right now from dribble penetration. Sims, tough shot, drew some contact. That foul will go against the Rebels. So Tyree off to a...
They play. And in terms of their ability to play with speed, their ability to play with pace, I love their acceleration through all their offensive sets. And I think that's part of the reason why they've been able to have so much success here, as there was already some talent, and it was set up for a good position for Coach Davis to come in. And I love their defensive principles, the way they play defense.
And he had an NBA player on that roster in Terrence Davis, who led him to the NCAA
How about
tournament.
that? Didn't even get drafted, and it's called player development. And you see Middle Tennessee comes out in the zone. Trapped in the short corner.
And a foul by Sims as he hits Devontae Schuler across the arm.
It's how you play inside your culture. I think sometimes the word culture can be cliche. People talk about it, but they don't understand what that means. But basically, Coach Kermit Davis holds everybody accountable, Dave.
Tyree left it a little bit short on that jump shot. Now Sims back the other way. 9-point advantage for the Rebels. Ole Miss 5 out of 10 to start this game from the field. Middle Tennessee 2 out of 7.
Yeah, the defense has been terrific. So what Ole Miss does is they change up their looks. They make you play a little faster than maybe you want to play. Good help at the rim by Millen.
Tyler Millen just checked in that last time out. Not a whole lot of options for Nick McDevitt, who's now in his second season as the head coach of Middle Tennessee. Tough year a season ago. His team went just 11-21, but they did have some success down the stretch. They won. They went 8-7 over their last 15 games after a 3-14 start. And of course, uphill battle this year because some of its better players, like Reggie Scurry, who's having to sit out because of NCAA type situation for the first 11 games and an injury.
Well, people that are not familiar may not know that Coach Kermit Davis spent a lot of time at Middle Tennessee. He won 7 of 9 league titles there, and then he left to take the Ole Miss job, and Nick McDevitt got this one here at Middle. So there's a little history there. Really doing a good job of switching sides of the floor. Tyree deep.
Three. It's just guys, you know, like if you're a guard like Tyree or Devontae Schuler, and you see zone,
your eyes light up. You just move the ball and you get ready to catch and shoot.
Millen gets it to Green. Shot clock in single digits again. Green kicks it back to C.J. Jones. Boy, that's a tough shot. Had a hand in his face.
Wide open. You gotta have the right people taking shots, right? That's part of all the freshmen that Nick McDevitt has. That was Eli Lawrence, one of his freshmen.
Tyree again.
Elevates over the top of the screen. Kadeem C with a terrific screen and transition. Their early offense has been really good.
10 points in 7 minutes for Breein Tyree. Ole Miss back the other way.
Yeah, I thought last year Tyree was more of a ball-dominant guard. You know, this year he can share some of the responsibilities with Schuler. I think that gets him off the ball some and even allows him to be that much more effective of a scorer. Nice.
C. Up and under move for the lay-in, and Ole Miss offense is.
Peter is supposed to be doing. I thought he had a terrific shooter out, and he's off to a good start because of it.
Now, usually, you know, these things don't matter, but Ole Miss shot the heck out of the ball this morning in their
it matters.
walkthrough.
It makes you feel more confident. And see, Coach Davis is calling timeout right now because he's teaching something on defense.
And how about Bruce Pearl's club? Just 1 of 5 remaining unbeaten.
I'll be there for that one. You're going to be there too?
I was supposed to be.
Oh, well, that's going to be. I can't wait.
Now I've got to go to New Mexico for football.
Oh, you got to. Oh, it's football season?
Yeah, still.
Oh.
Later on today, Auburn puts that unbeaten record on the line against St. Louis. That game's over on ESPN2.
I'll tell you, one of the games I'm looking forward to later on tonight is Georgia Tech on the road at Kentucky.
Yes.
That's going to be a fun one to watch. You know Michael DeVoe for Georgia Tech, he is a heck of a player.
And Tech's getting a little bit better.
They are getting better.
They had some tough losses early, but you can kind of sense them trending in the right direction.
The matchups to watch are on the inside. Kentucky's front line against James Banks for Georgia Tech and that front line. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Here's Williams, who just checked into the game, number 13 for Ole Miss. Now Henson.
Great anticipation.
Telegraph that one right to C.J. Jones. Outstanding athlete. Makes it look easy. Lays it up and in.
And what a great job by Nick McDermott off the timeout. Scores back-to-back baskets in his ATO and allows him to get into their 1-3-1. You know, Carter Davis, I think, is sort of the architect of the 1-3-1, and when the ball goes below the free throw line, he plays zone. Some teams go man. It varies. And Nick McDermott will mix it up.
Tyree heads to the free throw line after that nice little stutter step, dribble drive. He's got a dozen, looking for 13. Breein Tyree's the SEC active leading scorer with over 1,335 points.
Let me correct myself. Nick McDevitt, I'm sorry. Apologize to Nick and his family.
It could be all right.
Yeah.
Underneath, though, C.J. Jones got hit. Should have been a foul there, but no whistle.
What great elevation on the jumper. What Jones and Green can really play. They've got it back to 9, a 3-possession game. When on a made basket, it allows Nick McDevitt to set his defense in that 1-3-1 again.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of things to like from Hadim C. I mean, if he could step that, stretch it to 17 feet, 18 feet.
Well, they claim he has 3-point range, and he is 3 for 6 outside the arc this season. I would say that's 50% is very good for a 6'10 guy. Shoots the trail 3, and now everything's working for Middle Tennessee on offense. They've had 4 consecutive trips where they've had a basket or points.
Going back to Hadim C a moment ago.
Yeah, watch C right here do a great job of posting up and then moving out to space into the short corner.
C.J. Jones will step to the free throw line. C.J. has 11, looking for 12, and left that free throw short. C.J. was 18 of 18 at the line until that miss.
Middle Tennessee mixing up their defenses again, back to the 2-3. Well, you better find Breein Tyree. You're right, Dave, the zone for guards that can shoot it.
Breein Tyree is on a roll with 16 points, and we have just played a tick over 10 minutes here in the first half.
This is terrific ball movement. They get a couple of sides, they reverse the ball, and Schuler puts it right in the pocket, right in the shooting pocket. You never want to make a shooter drop their hands.
Tyree up to 1,351 points. That is 19th all-time at Ole Miss. And that 2 drops for C.J. Jones, who's putting on an offensive show himself.
He has great elevation on his jumper.
C kicks it around to Schuler. Back to Tyree. Can he do another? Oh, my goodness. This is unbelievable watching him shoot tonight.
Go ahead, Korean Tyree. You shoot till your arm falls off.
He has 15 of Ole Miss's last 19 points, and he's now 5 out of 5 from behind the arc. And there's still 9 minutes to play here in the first half. Even the crowd's starting to recognize this type of performance. Tyree. Crowley had it picked out of his hands, but right to Schuler. Henson for 3. He rattles it home. Ole Miss now 8 out of 7 from behind the arc. My goodness, what a shooting display.
It was the one thing Coach McDevitt was worried about, is having to mix up their D, playing some zone, knowing that the three-point shooting is good for Ole Miss.
So Green gets that to drop.
They only make 6 on the average. 15 points, and he has almost outscored Middle Tennessee himself.
Middle Tennessee's 9 of 18 from the field. C.J. Jones with 13 points. He's had a solid first half. Matter of fact, there was a stretch where he scored 10 straight. Now Schuler.
They're staying in that 1-3-1 while the ball's above the free throw line.
Buffin, bounce pass inside. Crowley can't get it to go. Jackson there for the rebound.
Really good defensive possession for Middle Tennessee. Active, high hands on the catch.
Crump cuts to the basket, block there from K.J. Buffin. Henson can't get it to go, but a foul on the rebound, and that'll go against Middle Tennessee underneath on Tyson Jackson. A freshman out of Fairburn, Georgia. Spent a year at Hargrave Military Academy before finding his way to Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Tyson Jackson has already really put in the time. He's down about 15 pounds from when he came to campus. He's got tremendous upside for Middle Tennessee. He's long and athletic. He's active on the back row.
Alley-oop, and there's a pull on the jersey on Blake Henson as he went up to the basket. Looks like he may have come down awkwardly as he's slow to get up.
It's a great screen on the strong side that allows Henson to get to the rim, and then you see a little hip check.
That's the second foul, by the way, on C.J. Jones. That is one thing that this Middle Tennessee team cannot afford, and that is foul trouble. Not a whole lot to choose from on that bench if you're Nick McDevitt.
No, they probably will go about 7 or 8 deep, waiting on some guys to get back, including Reggie Scurry, which will be a big lift for them in the next game when he's eligible to play.
Austin Crowley, the freshman out of West Point, Mississippi, missed that 3. Now Sims back the other way. A lot of contact. There's a whistle. And that'll be a couple of free throws coming up as Crowley fouls in the other end.
Really good decision by Donovan Sims. He's a junior. He leads the team in assists. His numbers are down a little bit from last year, but he made a good choice right there, drawing some contact to get to the line.
Hey, Thursday we'll have a women's basketball matchup for you right here on the SEC Network, and it's a good one. You can also see this on the ESPN app, of course. It's number 5, South Carolina hosts Duke, and a great non-conference matchup. That one coming your way from Columbia, South Carolina. Dawn Staley doing it again.
Yeah, they're really good.
It is a machine down there in Columbia.
It is the #1 freshman class in the nation. If you haven't seen them, you need to. They are all productive, and they have helped South Carolina off to this great start. There's 3 really good teams on the women's side: Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and South Carolina.
the usual culprits the last few years.
They're all Final Four caliber teams.
Sims picks up his second foul. And that will send Hadim C to the free throw line out of Dakar, Senegal. He started his career at Virginia Tech, then went to Daytona State. A 4-star recruit coming out of high school, top 5 JUCO prospect. Nickname around here is Dream. That's pretty much what everybody refers to him as, is Dream. Hadim the Dream. And I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. At 6'10", he moves around like a guy that's 6'5".
Well, see, and here's the good news for him. You're right. He's played about 12 minutes in this first half, and he doesn't have any personal fouls. That would be a good thing. So what happens for a guy like that that's aggressive, that's a shot blocker, that plays up the line, okay, he can get more aggressive in the second half. So he's got to learn how to play without foul trouble, because he's averaging 4 personal fouls a game.
Coach Davis told us this morning that he averages a foul every 5 minutes he's on the floor. Not today, though. Boy,
wow.
Tyree, you just can't stop him. You just cannot stop him today. That is three-pointer number 6.
It is an absolutely gorgeous looking shot.
Jackson there for the follow-up, the easy 2-pointer for him.
You allow dribble penetration, and it creates rotations and allows the offense to get to the offensive glass. I would say Coach Davis is not pleased with the 23 points that you see on the board out of Middle Tennessee right now. I think he's very pleased with the offense.
I was going to say, he's going to be happy about the 40 to this point with 5:42 to go before halftime, and Schuler just threw it away. And they were trying to set up Tyree in that corner a couple of times and just couldn't get him the basketball.
Well, you're going to play that zone. You have to shade towards Breein Tyree. Right now, you want to make somebody else make shots. And you got to try to take that away.
So Hadim C to the bench for a moment. 5:39 to go before the break. Ole Miss up 17. They are 9 out of 12 from behind the arc here in the first half.
Well, Schuler is doing a really good job on Antonio Green.
Here's Green, quick release, that won't go. It'll belong to Ole Miss. Antonio Green came into this game averaging almost 16 points a game. But he is right now just sitting on 2 points. He's 0 for 3 from behind the arc.
So when you know that you're the target, right, and you got a great defender on you, and you finally get free, you rush your shot a little bit, right, because Schuler fell down on that play. That's why he was wide open.
Tyree again for 3. That one won't go. That will be his first miss from behind the arc. He's now 6 out of 7. I mean, Tyree has 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists.
That's value added right there.
Yeah.
That is value added.
Oh, it has been something else watching him today in the first half. His season high is 24 points. His career high is 31. He's done that a couple of times. Last of which came against Georgia last year.
I think he's exciting. I think he's one of the most exciting players to watch in the SEC because he can do everything. And he is a leader this year that has taken over that responsibility. I think that just makes him that much more dangerous because he wants to win.
To belong to Middle Tennessee. The other thing about Breein Tyree is lost in the shuffle is what he does off the floor, too. You know, he's the chair of the SEC Men's Basketball Leadership Council.
Not surprised. I mean, that's impressive, right? He's a veteran guy. He's been around the league for 4 years.
And he can shoot.
Well, I always like shooters. Offense matters.
We might be able to find a spot for him on my church league team. I'm not sure yet. Johnson, he'll fire for 3, no good. There's Tyree with rebound number 4, flying down the court. Lays it up high off the backboard, but a nice little block there by Middle Tennessee as Jace Johnson got back defensively.
See, most of the time in that situation, Tyree might have dunked it, but when a guy's charging that hard next to you, you worry about dunking it, right?
Right.
For a safety reason. So you throw it up high off the glass.
Averaged almost 18 points a game last year. That was good enough for third in the conference. He came in this year 8th in scoring through the first 9 games of the season.
Well, he goes to the free throw line about 5 times a game. He takes 6 threes a game. He's doing that in the first half.
And Crump can't get that to drop. And the rebound right to KJ Buffen. Let's see if they don't find number 4 on this offensive set, as Tyree's gone up over 20 points again. 3rd consecutive game. 6th time this year he's done it. Did it 17 times last year. And C traveled with it.
C's going to have to be able to catch it on the low block and be able to make a play in a one-on-one. Because as Ole Miss continues to improve, and you put Kermit Davis puts Breein Tyree on the same side of the floor as C, that is hard to guard because you can't bring a double. So he's going to have to be able to score one-on-one.
17-point Ole Miss lead. C.J. Jones trying to get it back. Anthony Crump with it. Takes it in the lane. Nice move by Crump, the redshirt freshman out of Michigan.
He originally signed with Coach McDevitt at UNC Asheville and then came with him to Middle Tennessee.
Well, that'll get us to our under 4-minute timeout here in the first half. Ole Miss leading by 15. Back to the pavilion in a moment. Put his name out there, got some feedback, and basically the information he received felt like he needed another year to grind this out. And, you know, defensively, needed to take it up a notch. His leadership on the floor needed to take it up a notch. Offensively, we've known it's always been there.
Well, we know he can shoot it, right? And the scouts know he can shoot it. So what scouts look for is, you know, he gets 15 shots a game in college. Well, you're not going to get 15 shots in the NBA. You're going to get 6 or 7. So what else can you do? He's really worked on his defense, and basically they want to see if you're a winner. Are you a winner? Are you tough enough? Can you add value in other ways?
Green left it short.
See, Coach McDevitt is trying to get Antonio Green going. He struggled, so he puts him in an ISO on the block. He uses athleticism. He just can't get going. But Schuler can.
I mean, this is an absolute clinic. Ole Miss with a season high in first half points at 43, and they continue to shoot it well. They have now hit 10 of 14 from behind the arc. Their season high for threes was 12.
Great challenge at the rim by KJ Buffen.
C trying to get in on the action. That won't drop. Antonio Green's had one of those frustrating type days for a guy that comes in second among active D1 players with over 300 made three-pointers. Johnson knocks C to the hardwood, and we'll get the easy layup.
And they are calling C for a flop and for a delay.
That'll be his first.
You know, that's a really challenging rule because he's trying to draw the charge. Was there contact? Yes. Was there contact in his chest? Yes. Did he flop? The discretion of the officials, they say yes.
So the next one, technical foul for all subsequent delays. It's a nice way to put the flop in there as a delay.
We're just trying to take it out of college basketball.
KJ Buffen driving to the basket. KJ came in averaging 11 points a game, 6.6 rebounds. His first basket, and Middle Tennessee answers right back. Nice drive by Donovan Sims.
Great blow by. Another good decision by Sims.
Young man from right there in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, averaging 7 points a game. There's Tyree as they stretch that
1-3-1. You would think Ole Miss goes against it every day, so they should be very well prepared to handle it.
It is a staple of the Kermit Davis program.
I think he's the architect of it, actually. I mean, the 1-3-1 and morphing into zone or man.
Green, that's a nice drive, but there's Tyree with the block shot.
Look at Antonio Green for like 1 for 6.
It has been a tough afternoon for the redshirt senior from just down the road in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Look at the acceleration through all the action offensively. Then they get a good shot. It doesn't fall. And a chance at an offensive rebound.
Here's Green with a basketball. Green came in 5th in Conference USA in scoring. Back to Millen. Nice turnaround shot from Tyson Jackson. And Ole Miss can hope for a final shot.
Tyree in the corner.
Bang. Hey, how about one for the road, huh? At the horn, that doesn't drop. Breein Tyree puts together a
3-1, the 2-3, or you're playing man. You got to chase him off the three-point line. Make him give up the ball. And once he does, I wouldn't let him catch it back. I'd make somebody else score.
It has been the Breein Tyree show to this point, and a foul on the first possession of the second half. A moving screen against Tyson Jackson.
So they come out of the half. They run the door screen play through the top of the floor. And Coach McDevitt, who drew up a really good play to get his team started, you get a detail like that, does not set well.
Alley-oop, trying to hit Buffin down low and went right through his hands. C.J. Jones, corner three. He knocks it home.
You give up a layup, and a transition three on the other end.
Jones just put together a nice game. Jones sitting on 16 now.
You got to stay aggressive if you're Ole Miss. You got to keep looking to attack.
Nadim C underneath, goes with the left hand. That won't drop. Rebound yanked out of there by Jace Johnson. Off to C.J. Jones. Well, he lined that one up just a little too strong. He'll get to try it again. Got that one.
Well, he had a terrific first half. He went 6 for 8. He starts the second half 2 for 3 outside the arc. Roles. That's why you play in these kind of non-conference events, right? Because you're trying to get ready, and Kermit Davis knows what it takes to get to the NCAA tournament. So that's why when you look over there and you see he's up 15 and he's upset. He's up 11 and he's upset. He's upset with his defense.
How about their stretch, though, at the end of November, where they go at Memphis, versus Penn State, versus Oklahoma State, and here against Butler?
Well, I'm telling you right now, that Penn State win is huge. Penn State is very good. Lamar Stevens is a terrific player, and Penn State just had a big win over Maryland. So that win will carry them a long way towards the NCAA selection process.
And they were down, what, 21 in the second half, and came back to win that game. A foul right before the shot clock horn, and the Middle Tennessee bench none too appreciative of that.
And that's a great piece of tape to learn from. You certainly don't want to commit that foul with the shot clock about to expire.
So the shot clock will go to 20. Schuler, nice pass underneath, and Nadim C fouled by Antonio Green. Actually, they're going to give that one to Jace Johnson, who just picked up his third. And here we go with some of the foul trouble. So Nadim C at the free throw line. Nadim 64% and spins that one in. He now has 8 points. He's gone back-to-back double-figure scoring games, 12 against Butler, 10 against Cal State Bakersfield. Oh, Jones will grab that loose basketball. Middle Tennessee down a dozen.
Well, Antonio Green here, right here with the ball, has been really unable to get going, but C.J. Jones has got Buffin on him right now. Let's see if Buffin can deny him the basketball.
Jackson had it knocked out of his hands by Schuler. Henson back the other way. Tyree fires for three. That one won't go, and a foul on the floor, and that one will go against Tyson Jackson. And that will be his third.
Already with 4 team fouls for Middle Tennessee. You don't want to put Ole Miss in a bonus too early.
So now Jackson with 3, Jace Johnson with 3, C.J. Jones with a couple, and Donovan Sims with 2.
2-3 zone.
Buffin had that one rejected by C.J. Jones. Boy, he gets off the floor in a hurry. Green fires. Schuler, the weak side rebound.
I would try to make sure C.J. Jones got a touch every time down the floor right now.
A good catch there by Buffin. Henson now. Tapped around, and Ole Miss has gone cold from behind the arc. Nice dribble drive by Sims.
What an effort by Middle Tennessee to come back in this game.
Debbie, they were down 19 with 6.5 to go in the first half. They've cut it to 10. Middle Tennessee has dropped 6 of their last 7.
You know, Dave, and all that ball movement right now has gotten stagnant for Ole Miss. And now they're not staying as aggressive. That's a good drive right there, though, by Brian Tyree. They're going to run him off the three-point line. And Sims again to the rim.
Well, he's getting there. He just needs to convert.
Got to make a good decision right here. Good job. Middle Tennessee did a great job getting back in transition to set their D. Now they get organized. And you can see they're getting some confidence, right? Look at the body language of Middle Tennessee right now.
Tyree cuts to the basket. Off the back of the rim. Couldn't get it to go. So Sims just missed at the iron. Tyree just missed. It's only a matter of time before we see Antonio Green go for a nice little 6-8 point run. He's too good of a scorer, averaging almost 16 a game. Be a foul against Ole Miss, against Adim C. That would get us 2 guys back that will be difference makers for them. One of those being Reggie Scurry, and the other one being Javonte Milner, who's been out with an injury.
And then the Dishman kid, you know, he's going to play on the inside, who's going to give Coach McDevitt some depth on the interior. And he's out for the season with an ACL. He won't be back. But they were counting on him.
But right out of the timeout, Tyler Millen steps on the sideline. That is the 6th turnover of the game by Middle Tennessee.
Well, I'll tell you what, Middle Tennessee does not look like a team that has lost 6 out of their last 7 at all. A team that got blown out in their last game. They have played hard. They have had high hands on the catch. They have adjusted in the second half. And see, this is where Brian Tyree is really balanced in his offensive game. So he knows Middle Tennessee is running him off the three-point line. So that means you come with a shorter closeout. And when you come with that shorter closeout, you attack it off the bounce. And he's been in the paint more so far in the first 4.5 minutes of the second half than he was the entire first half.
Nick McDevitt trying to relay some defensive strategies to Sims and C.J. Jones. Nick McDevitt now in his second year at Middle Tennessee. Came over from UNC Asheville, where he grew up in that area, played his ball there. He's the 2017 Big South Coach of the Year before coming to Middle Tennessee, replacing Kermit Davis, who stands about 40 feet away from him today. Sims, tough shot.
I think Donovan Sims' decision-making all game has been fantastic. I think he's done an excellent job. He leads the team in assists, and you have to know personnel to be able to do that, and he does know his personnel well.
Spin move and traveling violation against Crowley, and that'll give it back to Middle Tennessee.
And that's the first time I've seen Breein Tyree turn down a shot. So I'm wondering if fatigue is starting to play a little bit of a factor right now.
Tyree's played 24 minutes. Schuler's been out there for 23. Guy that hadn't come off the floor yet. Middle Tennessee's Antonio Green. Timeout, Middle Tennessee. Eastern time. So they are 5 or 6 minutes into that one. Big game today, Memphis and Tennessee in Knoxville. Loose ball right out into the hands of Breein Tyree. And a foul underneath.
Coach McDevitt.
Sammy Hunter went up for the jam.
So on this end, there potentially was a lot of contact on the shooter, nothing called. And then on the other end, at the rim, the official right now talking to Coach McDevitt saying principle of verticality in play underneath the rim on this end.
I use that term a lot just when I'm walking around the house, the principle of verticality. I just throw that around. Son, that is the principle of verticality, son. Just randomly.
Yeah, and what is the response?
Dad, you're going crazy. You remind me of Cousin Eddie. You should try it. When you roll in the house, in the house next time, just start, just point at somebody and go, principle of verticality.
See what the boys come up with.
Right.
All right, I'll give it a try, Dave. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. Middle Tennessee trying to work against this Ole Miss zone.
Really shadowing Antonio Green, shading him. There's a foul and one. Opportunity.
So Jace Johnson will head to the free throw line. His first basket of the game, the sophomore out of Buffalo, New York.
This is a great take right here. He gets shot fake into a taller defender and Sammy Hunter, and draws the foul and goes to the line.
Here's a great story in Jace Johnson. Young man was actually headed to play quarterback at Wagner College, an FCS program in New York. But before he went, decided to play one more year at AAU ball with his buddies, and was playing so well that he started getting some recognition from other schools, some big-time schools, and decided that, you know what, I'm going to go play hoops instead. So he gave up the football dream. Can you imagine him at the FCS level as a 6'5", 215-pound quarterback?
Impressive.
But he did say, though, that getting ready for college basketball versus getting ready for college football from a physical standpoint, completely different.
Right,
that's something. Yeah,
right?
he said it wasn't there for him. It took him a while to get basketball ready.
It is a different conditioning for sure. Basketball players got to be able to run all day. You got to be able to change pace all the time. You have to have acceleration and explosion.
Here's Sims. Leaning to the right, shot missed. Tyree back the other way after the Seat rebound.
Good slip.
Nice pass from Seat back to Tyree now, and he will leave it a little bit short. Maybe there's something to the legs in that shot.
Well, he's carried a lot of responsibility on the offensive end in the first half. Look at Sims switch sides of the floor. Great fill behind the penetration by Jones.
Now it's Schuler. Devontae drew the contact, and that'll go against Antonio Green, and that'll be number 4 on their leading score, second leading score, Antonio Green.
Coach McDevitt has to make a decision right here. I mean, can you come back down 12 with Antonio Green on the bench, even though he's not had a good shooting night? And this young man graduates officially today from Middle Tennessee with his undergrad. I know. Congratulations is right. He's got about 30 family members here, so maybe that has contributed to his poor shooting. You know, you're trying to have a big game and big night in front of your family.
From just down the road. I mean, he's 45
tough.
minutes from here in Tupelo, Mississippi.
I think Ole Miss's defense has contributed to his poor shooting. They really made it an effort to make sure they stay on his outside shoulder, on all that curling action, on screens.
Eli Lawrence kicks it in the corner. That one off the mark from Jones. Here's Williams on the floor now for Ole Miss. Ole Miss just 1 for 8 from the field. Ooh. And Hadim C whistled for the offensive foul. Kermit Davis doesn't like it.
So there was contact. He was in a legal guarding position. And then it's subjective after that. Okay? Is because what the fans are yelling about is on that end of the floor in the first half, they called Ole Miss for a flop. One 3-1 for Ole Miss. And they go from a 1-3-1 when the ball goes below the free throw line into their 2-3.
Sims, little floater, got it to go.
He's had a terrific floor game.
12 points for Sims. He's 5 of 8 from the floor, also with 6 assists today.
That's the decision making that's been impressive about his game.
Williams at the elbow, got it to go.
2 hard dribbles is all you really need in the quarter court. Beautiful pull-up jump shot.
His first basket of the game came in averaging right around 5.
Good pocket pass.
C.J. Jones buries that one, and C.J. now with 21 in the game. 12-point game. Middle Tennessee trailed by as many as 19 in this one. It was an onslaught early by Breein Tyree. Here's a chance now for Middle Tennessee back the other way. The alley-oop to Jones, and that'll be goaltending. I thought he hung on the rim.
Yeah, he did.
Boy, that's an unfortunate break for Middle Tennessee as the ball slipped out of his hands and he had to hang on to the rim.
Yeah, there's no question. Good call by the officials. Lane Kiffin, the Lane train.
It's here.
Hop on, baby.
It is here.
Well, 2 baskets in the second half for Ole Miss. That's it offensively.
Not good. And they were so efficient and they were so smooth in the first half. What has happened?
Well, I think they've gotten stagnant. You know, they're not moving the ball like they did in the first half. That's much better. Inside out, reverse the floor, get to the rim. That's a beautiful decision and play, and good piece of execution by Ole Miss coming off the timeout.
And Breein Tyree just matched his career high with 31. It's the 3rd time he's hit that number. Can he get over that hump and post a new career high today? Crump drives to the basket. Free throws coming up for, actually an offensive foul against Crump as he went flying into the lane.
The lane is wide open. So you got to pull up and throw it off the glass right there, young man. You don't need to go all the way to the rim. I bet that's what Damian Fishback is thinking about right now. Just pull up and shoot it off the glass.
Fish will pull up from anywhere.
Absolutely. He pulls up when he gets off the bus, doesn't he? He's already warmed up.
Fish back in the studios today. Probably getting his work in. Ooh, loose ball, and that one is taken away by Tyree. Up to Schuler. His reverse layup is good, and you can count it.
Look at the tempo change off the timeout. Back-to-back aggressive plays offensively to the rim.
That'll be 9 for Devontae Schuler. That foul against Jace Johnson. That'll be his 4th. Where Devontae Schuler's had to spend most of his game trying to defend Antonio Green. He has been in his hip pocket all afternoon. Green on the floor wearing number 55 came in as the second best three-point shooter among active Division I players. Over 304 three-pointers made, but today it has been a tough go of it for Green, who is just 0 for 4 from behind the arc and 1 of 7 overall. Here he is with the basketball. C.J. Jones dumps it inside to Jackson. He lays it up and in. That's an easy shot as he got past Kadeem C.
They do a really good job of clearing out the backside to allow that lob to come in. No help at the rim. Look at the cadence pickup, Dave. See, they're moving the ball much better.
And the result, three-pointer. Austin Crowley knocks it down. Came in 35% from behind the arc. That's his 7th of the year.
You can't let Middle Tennessee dictate your pace offensively. You have to decide that.
Here's C.J. Jones, the Arkansas transfer. A whistle underneath. A foul against Ole Miss. Austin Crowley will pick that up. That'll be the 5th on the team, the 3rd on Crowley. So Sims trying to get it inbounds, and he'll get it back. Sims to the basket. That was stripped out of there by Schuler. It's a 2-on-1 break. And Crowley will get credit for the basket on the goaltend. That's 5 now for Austin.
Offense generated from their defense, and now all of a sudden it's a 20-point lead for Ole Miss.
It's their largest of the game.
Yeah, they got their rhythm back offensively. I mean, they went the first 10 minutes, almost the first 10 minutes of the second half. They only had 2 baskets.
It'll belong to Middle Tennessee with 20 on the shot clock. Middle comes in 4 and 6, having lost 6 of their last 7. Ole Miss 6 and 3 on the year.
And here's the other thing, too. After that great first half by C.J. Jones with 13 first-half points, and after the onslaught early, I think Middle Tennessee's defense has done a much better job of limiting him. And he's being guarded right now on the floor by Austin Crowley.
Ole Miss started this half 1 out of 8 from the field, but they've hit 5 straight now. Trying to play a little defense. That one's knocked out of there by Buffett. Devontae Schuler in the corner. Tyree. Got it. A new career high for Breein Tyree with 34. It's his 8th 3 of the game. Timeout taken by...
What are 1 or 2 things when you take the job of the magnitude of this? What are you trying to get done early?
Well, we got a lot of stuff at the same time. You know, signing day is Wednesday, so we have, I think, 16 official visitors here right now at the game. And at the same time trying to put together a staff. And so early signing period has made this even more difficult, you know, when you have, you know, coaching changes like this.
You mentioned C.J. Jones, misfires there. You mentioned trying to recruit. Obviously, you haven't had a whole lot of time to gather a class for this area. So my question is, how much do you rely on what you were recruiting down in South Florida?
Not that much. You know, it's a different region, so very, very few carryover players. We need to get this number 4, though, right here.
Yeah, Breein Tyree.
Yeah, whoever this guy is, I like this guy. Come play wide out.
So how do you do that? Seriously, how do you in a short amount of time identify some guys? Because you've got a signing day here in a few days. So how do you identify what's good for this university?
Well, there were a number of commitments, so you look at those. You look at target guys, maybe guys that are decommitted through the process, and you just spend a lot of hours evaluating players really quickly but don't make rash decisions and don't just sign guys because we need to because next Wednesday, or because where we're ranked or any of that stuff. That doesn't matter. So we may not sign as many as other people, and we'll take our time and sign the best players we can in February, and we'll get a lot of great transfers that want to come here, already have reached out to us.
How excited are you to be back in the SEC, though?
It's exciting. I mean, you wake up early in the morning, you just feel it, when you come to a game like this or the press conference or just, driving around, wherever we go with the recruits, you're back in, big-time football.
Did you think it would happen? I mean, when you left Alabama and that didn't really go well, and I mean, just when you think about your career and some of the things that happened, did you think you'd be back here in the SEC coaching at a university like this?
I did. I just felt like, that it was going to happen. And, we went down and had, 3 years down there at FAU and won 2 championships and 11 wins the first year and just 10 wins with a bowl game to come right now. So, but I was also happy. I wasn't looking for the job.
Right.
I was very content and happy. And you have more appreciation now when you come back to a place like this than when you did before when you didn't know any different.
What about some messaging, Coach? The lane train is a big thing. Everybody's excited about it. You get a standing ovation when you walk in the building. What are some of the messaging that you want the fans to know about the style of play that we're going to see from Ole Miss football?
Well, we're going to play exciting football. I know everybody says that, but I think there's proof in that where we've been of high explosive, fast-paced offenses. And so very aggressive the way that we play call, the way we use analytics to manage the game. So we'll play really exciting football. We've got a lot of work to do, though.
So you got, at what point, because I know Ole Miss fans will probably be dogging you about this question for a long time, at what point do we talk about your quarterback situation with Corral and Plumlee?
Well, I mean, like I said, we got a million things going on, and that's not something we need to figure out today, so that's at the bottom of our list. But, obviously researching the job, compared to some other jobs, there's some really good young players, especially on offense here, so we're excited about working with what's here and then adding to that.
Talk about culture a lot, and coaches use that term, and it's not necessarily a negative reflection on the prior staff. It's just every coach wants to put their culture, their stamp on the program. How quickly can you do that as a coach?
Well, first off, Coach Luke did a really good job here and left us some really good players. Part of the reason that we came. So it's our job to build on that, to improve in some certain areas. And so we played a lot of really close games. Not a lot of wins, but a lot of close games. So, we got to do some little things, to turn those games around.
People want to know timeline stuff, so that's why I'm asking a lot of this stuff. Coordinators, when do you announce where you're going to go, what direction? At what point does that start to trickle out?
Well, we've hired our offensive coordinator, Jeff Levy, who's here already. Came from UCF, which are obviously one of the best offenses in the country.
Fantastic.
We had to play against them 2 years in a row, and so he's already here working, and we're putting together the rest of the staff as we go.
What's been the hardest part right now for this job? I mean, I wouldn't say hardest, but the thing that you've had the difficulty kind of wrapping your arms around, kind of making sure that you're getting things lined up the way you want to get them lined up?
I think probably the recruiting, not coming from a national place to a national place. You go Tennessee to USC, like you said, you're recruiting a lot of the same players, the top 100 players in the country. So trying to figure that out, but trying to move fast but slow at the same time.
So how are we handling the Alabama thing? It seems like a lot of people think you might be taking a jab or two over there, trying to steal some coaches. What's going on?
No, I don't know where people are getting that. We actually, we actually have not. And,
okay.
We have great respect for them, and I said in the press conference, would not be here today without Coach Saban. So, we have nothing but great respect for them.
And you've said that over and over again. I kind of.
Nobody wants to talk about that. They just always want to wait for me to say something different. No one ever wants to repeat. Oh, he actually appreciates Coach Saban.
I know, but I guess it's one of those things that everything you say now will be taken to the nth degree, right? I mean, you kind of understand that.
Now I've been dealing with that for 10 years. That didn't just start.
That's what it's like working with Dave. It's the same thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, usually I'm one word away from getting fired always. That's how I always looked at it. And if you ever think, here's what I've always learned too. Whenever you think nobody's watching a game, just drop one of those particular words, and you'll find out in a hurry how many people are watching.
Yes, ratings will go up.
So I care about offense. So is a big play defined by a 20-yard play, or is it a 30-yard play?
Well,
what's a big play?
They usually say explosive plays, and some will say 14-yard runs and 16-yard passes.
Okay, so I'm counting on you to lead the SEC in that next year. Is that
okay? That's fair.
Yeah,
we'll go really fast and have a lot of explosive plays. We just got to stop somebody when we're doing that.
By the way, while I got you here, how much basketball did you play growing up?
I played throughout high school. I wasn't very good. I went to high school in Minnesota, so not exactly the basketball capital of the world.
Well, Ole Miss is shooting the lights out today. They have knocked down 14 three-pointers this afternoon. And it has been an Ole Miss show here offensively, and certainly this is an offense that can score with the best of them when they're as fluid as they are. Middle Tennessee hanging in there. So 2 signing days now. Your thoughts, and I get different opinions about this all the time. How do you like the early signing period? And would you rather just have one, or would you rather have 2?
Well, I do think it cleans it up a little bit, and gets rid of some of the fluff about what offers are real and all that and where people are going. So it's probably a good thing.
A lot of people say the February date was always great. And people camped out, wanted to know everything, but now it kind of deflates that a little bit. I know that's not a concern to you, but do you think more kids will start to use the December signing period? Have you already seen the transition in that direction?
Yeah, that definitely started. I mean, last year, almost all the guys were gone early. I feel like there's a little bit more left at this time, but, I think most kids have it figured out by then. They've started visits earlier, and so it probably is a good thing.
Last thing, I get you out of here. What's your biggest area of recruiting? Like, what do you focus on? What do you need most?
Well, I think we went 4-8, so that there's a lot of needs, and so we just got to go get the best players that we can wherever they're coming from, and we've had great responses already, and like we said in the press conference, you want to come be developed at the highest level and have fun doing it, come to Ole Miss.
Not a bad place to be, Coach. I mean, this is one of the unique stops in all of college football. It's a great community here, and tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun as this season unfolds. And I'll say it again, welcome back to the league. I think a lot of people are excited to have you.
Thank you. I got a chance, a few summers ago when my brother was coaching here to spend some time in the summer here, and so it wasn't one of those just have to take a job, you've never been there. So I knew what a neat place it was, and I played here one time in Alabama and we lost. So I saw how passionate the fans were. And
Ole Miss has hit 14 out of 22 from behind the arc. They are one off the school record. They did it twice. They hit 15 twice. One of those was the game Marshall Henderson hit 10 in against Oregon.
Well, I thought their ball movement was terrific most of the game. There'll be stretches in the game where Coach Davis can break down the film and he can show the guys where they got stagnant. But 26 baskets, 21 assists is higher than their 63% assisted basket average on the season.
Also, one other nugget about the three-point shots. 14 made by Ole Miss is a new pavilion record. .245 to play in this one. Ole Miss has led the entire way.
Well, and if you're Coach McDevitt, you got to look at getting guys back, getting healthy, being able to add to your depth, because they certainly have played hard all game. And that's what you want on the road in an environment like this. Can you manage the toughness of an SEC team, which will help you when you get into league play?
Schuler with the basketball has 10 points, 8 assists today. And he spent most of the first half defending Green as the easy throwdown from Blake Henson. But Devontae Schuler's game's been overshadowed, obviously, by Breein Tyree, but it's been a solid day for Devontae. T.J. Jones, no good, and that belonged to Middle Tennessee. That didn't go well. Trying to save the basketball. So Breein Tyree will call it a day, and it's a career-high 34 with 4 assists. Also saw him block a shot.
Well, that's an impressive number, but I'm impressed with 20 field goal attempts to get 34 points. That's the kind of efficiency that I think Coach Davis would be looking for.
Well, Kermit Davis, all-time winningest coach.
Sun
Belt Conference, all-time winningest coach.
Isn't Middle Tennessee going to be an interesting follow through the rest of the year, right? Aren't you curious like I am? I think Nick McDevitt does a terrific job with his staff. And I was at practice last night, and they were just going through a little bit of a shoot-around. But you can tell the prep, the intensity, the intangibles are all there. He had success. in the Big South as Coach of the Year. You already mentioned that once, Dave, at UNC Asheville. And, you know, you don't, it's hard to come on the road when Antonio Green, you know, is a player that you're counting on, and just he struggles.
Yeah, just not his day today for Green.
It actually is his day because he's graduating today,
yeah,
right?
Big day. This is secondary.
Second.
Exactly. But still, you know he'd like to have more than 4 points on
Yes.
graduation day.
But I tell you what, he hasn't hung his head. He's worked hard. He hasn't given up a play on defense. He's continued to work. That's what you want from your leader if you're Coach McDevitt.
So Schuler gets a nice round of applause as his day is over. Schuler will finish with 10 points, 9 assists.
He pointed the wrong way. He said blue, but he pointed the wrong way. It's a good job to get it right.
Yeah. 1:14 to go in this one. Green trying to inbound it, and we'll get it underneath to Lawrence. The freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia. Out to the top and Crump now.
Oh, see, Crowley got to stay on his feet.
Millen can't get that one to go. It'll belong to Ole Miss. 50 seconds to go. So for this Ole Miss basketball team, after a week off, you never know what you're going to get after an exam week. I mean, coaches will always tell you they can practice all week, feel good about things, but you just don't know how your team's going to respond. But Ole Miss responded quite well today. And count the basket underneath for Austin Crowley. Young man originally signed with Vanderbilt, but when Bryce Drew was let go of his job as head coach, he was released from his commitment and signed here with Kermit Davis. And Green is fouled out with just 4 points. And if Middle Tennessee was going to have any shot, he had to have 15 to 20.
He had to have a big night. And C.J. Jones, he had a big game. He played well.
23 for C.J. Yeah. Lawrence is fouled on the way up. Kermit Davis going to look at the last 3 or 4 minutes of this tape and not be real enthused about things.
You don't think he's thinking about blowing out the candles on his 60th birthday? Right
Something
there?
tells me that's not at the center of his thought process.
Hopefully he'll enjoy a little cake before he watches the film.
I doubt something tells me that's not going to happen either. You know what he's thinking about as I saw that shot? The principle of verticality. Morgan Freeman in attendance today. Dan Chancellor, the Hall of Fame basketball coach, Olympic gold medalist, winning coach, and also one of the best to ever coach any sport here at Ole Miss. He and his wife Betty in attendance today on what has been Cousin Eddie Day as they honor Christmas vacation as the horn sounds. As we are 11 days away from the holiday.